Well, I have the same statement in front of me, and here it is. It's quite lengthy, quite detailed. It's quite good analysis. So, what of them are the two Americas? The Trump USA and the established, if you will, entrenched State Department, Pentagon, USA. Now, they say it's difficult to relate to a country that, in a sense, is two countries. And they are, of course, then asking the question, which one do we relate to? Or that's implicit in it. And what then comes out of it, we'll have to see. And I think that is being decided inside the USA. And it's a question now how the entrenched USA, the State Department, Pentagon USA, the heavy business USA, how they are now dealing with Trump. Now, I'm not this moment necessarily engaging in speculations on that, but this is very hard. And where do we go from here? Well, let us first just remind ourselves that Juche, the official ideology, if you will, of North Korea, stands for self-reliance. Now, the more self-reliant you are, the less vulnerable are you to sanctions. You're not only supposed to produce what you need yourself, maybe at a low level, but nevertheless sufficient to meet basic needs of the population. But you're supposed to do that at the level of the province and down to the level of the village. And interestingly enough, they talk about the level of the person. The person has to be his own motor engine and not be dependent on others. So let's imagine they have some success with that. They have been going on for a long time. Well, in that case, I think sanctions are much less of what the jargon calls a bite than they expected to have. And yet, of course, it is not good for North Korea. Some supplies are cut off. I understand that China is playing a double game. On the one hand, participating in the sanctions. On the other hand, there is a lot of smuggling, officially sanctioned or not, from China into North Korea. So I don't quite see the situation as serious for North Korea. And let us just remind ourselves of the two positions. The position of North Korea seems to me to be unchanged, although they don't often repeat it, but it is based on 3 points. Point 1, change the armistice of 1953 into a peace treaty. Point 2, normalization of diplomatic relations. And point 3, a denuclearized UN-inspected Korean Peninsula. And what has happened is great progress on number 1 and 2. What we have experienced now is something, in a sense, quite fantastic, and that is, it's moving towards a peace treaty, and the normalization is taking place in the sense that there will be a United States embassy in Pyongyang, and of course a North Korean one in Washington. And I'm looking forward to the same arrangement with Tokyo. But number 3, the nuclear-free Korean Peninsula. I think we still have a stalemate. United States and Trump want a nuclear-free North Korea. North Korea wants a nuclear-free Korean Peninsula, including the nuclear capability of U.S. To what extent it's shared with South Korea, I simply don't know. I don't know that many people know. And we have not come to that point yet. So there is a difference between a one-sided request on North Korea, or demand, and a symmetric request by North Korea on all of them. The second one spells peace, as peace has to do with symmetry. The first one spells U.S. power, you do as we say. I think the Korean position is now questioning with what kind of United States are we dealing. And they have in the long statement that we were referring to this idea of 2 Americas. If you will, State Department, Pentagon, big business America on the one hand, and on the other hand, the Trump America. And the question is quite understandable. With which one are we dealing? Or are there in fact 2 Americas? So that is, to me, the gist, basic point in the statement. They stand by their 3 goals, as far as I can understand. The U.S. position seems to me to be that nobody's going to tell U.S. what the U.S. position should be. U.S. defines its own position, it's its own master. Point 2 is not entering into negotiations with anybody, it is telling other countries, states what to do. And that seems to me to be the gist of the Pompeo. I actually pronounce him Pompous, not Pompeo, of his visit to North Korea. The gist of it. So simply telling, and the North Koreans, of course, refer to that as arms twisting.